like 87% fail within the first couple of years. I mean, that's crazy. Only 25% of us sold a house last year, one house. So it's a very tough business. So mentally, you got to get through adversity.
David, thank you for joining me for our Thought Leader Spotlight series. I'm your host over here, Matt Camp, head of partnerships at DealMachine. And on these, we really like to shine an industry spotlight on experts like yourself, hear your inspiring stories, and see how you see the real estate world evolving. So today, really excited to welcome on our friend, David Frost. I know you've been a friend of DealMachine for a very long time. You are a real estate investor and agent yourself in North Carolina, have a team of agents doing 100 plus deals in a year. I know you're the author of The Grit and the Grind, Surviving and Winning Big in Real Estate. You're a coach, mentor, and educator for the Rainmaker. I love the logo on the shirt there too. So David, excited to have you on, man. Thanks for joining.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much for having me. I'm excited to be here. Love DealMachine.
Appreciate that, man. So, I know a lot of our audience as well are we've got newbies all the way through to more advanced investors, right? And so for the newbie side, I'd love to hear your story of how you got into real estate, what inspired you to do this. Like, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself there outside of that bio?
Yeah, absolutely. So first, I always like to say I'm a husband and a father. I've got three kids, stepdaughter 15, my middle daughter Reagan's 10, and then my son William is 5, who is
Love the priorities.
Crazy. Yeah, absolutely crazy. And we are out of Hampstead, North Carolina is where I live, but I work out of Jacksonville, North Carolina, which is a big Marine base is there, Camp Lejeune. So I was a military guy. My wife was military. That's how we met. While in the military, I was an Army CID agent, which is like the TV show NCIS. So I did that. I investigated all the felony crimes and a couple big ones. Jessica Lynch case, I was part of that investigation. I was a part of the war crimes team against Saddam Hussein. In 03, 04, we went over there specifically to do the war crimes investigations and things like that. So very interesting background for me, which actually, kind of transitions into real estate pretty easy. People, you gotta be a people person, gotta have rapport building, gotta be able to talk to people, not scared to pick up the phone and call people. So I was in the military for a while. I was getting ready to probably PCS again, and my wife was still in, and I transitioned out of the military into real estate. So I didn't know if I was going to do it full time as a real estate agent, a broker, or if I was just going to kind of, buy some houses and flip and go from there. Because in my past, while I was in the military, I had flipped houses where I would buy them, live in them, and then sell them a few years later. And then I, buy another foreclosure, move into it, flip it as I went. And then I bought one that we just flipped on the side. And so I was always in kind of the real estate kind of industry, I guess. And I was always interested in real estate, loved it, and wanted to do it more than not. So transition out, came into real estate about 12 years ago. My first, and I got my license. My first year, I sold 14 houses. My second year, my wife joined me, got out of the military, sold 48, then 71, then 101. So just kept going from there. I started a team probably about 10 and a half years ago, and I've always had a team now. I have a team of 5 outstanding agents on my team, and we invest together as well on, flipping and renovating. And pretty good. So that's how I kind of got into real estate and been doing it ever since. We love real estate. DealMachine has been pretty much like a nucleus to that. Your company has just awesome. I always tell everybody, if I had DealMachine in 2014, 15, I would have been even more of a killer. My team and me, because I was struggling to find numbers. I was struggling to figure out kind of, mail outs and just all that stuff that DealMachine, the platform, offers somebody. And, I think we've been with you for 5, 6 years, something like that. It's been a while now.
Been a bit. Yeah. Love that. Amazing.
Love it.
Well, what I'll mention, I mean, first off, thank you for your service. Really appreciate what you've done there. You mentioned like your background in the military and what you were doing there. Can you tell us more about how that prepared you for real estate? And I know there are a variety of people watching this that whether they're in the military or they've got another day job that they're like, man, they're transitioning out of and looking at real estate as an option.
Mhm.
Like, what prepares you from there into can carry through into real estate.
Oh, wow. I mean, I think the military for me was was the best thing that could have happened to me. I think I wasn't a bad kid in school or things like that. I just wasn't into school. So, I always tell everybody, I was a D student. I was an athlete though, very athletic, love sports today still. But the military really structured me. And what the military brings to the table always is structure, with the scheduling, physical fitness, mental toughness. They build your confidence and they teach you skills. And sometimes the skills you're learning, you don't even realize, like just showing up every day. Like the military, they don't get sick days off, right? So
Mm-hmm.
they basically, if you're not feeling well, you got to go to sick call, is what they call it. You go to the hospital, the ER, they see you, they give you medication, they evaluate you. And a lot of times your return to duty. You get like Motrin or medicine, and you got to go back to work. You rarely do you have, where they're going to send you home and you have a sick day. So mentally, you kind of get through a lot of things that I would say the majority have a hard time with. At least I
You overcome
see.
adversity. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I mean, let alone you go to combat, you get shot. That
Yeah.
obviously that's the
Yeah.
extreme. But in my time, I was deployed a lot. I was in Kosovo, I was in Germany, I was in Korea, I was in Iraq. So I was overseas most of my time, and you're away from family. Same thing. So mentally, you get through the adversity and able to pick up even after maybe a failure or something. So that's really how it helped me in the military or in real estate is once I transitioned over, I realized that it was a relationship type business. It was a business that you've got to reach out to people you don't know. You've got to be
Hmm.
aggressive. You got to be able to build rapport and be able to communicate with people of how you can help them and how you can provide value to them. So a little bit different than being an investigator, but I always had to talk to different people, different ways of life and education level, and you have to be able to relate. And in real estate's the same thing. It's a little safer, and you have to relate a little different. But it definitely prepared me for the ups and downs. Being an investor, agent, real estate can be a very wavy business, and it is for most real estate agents. Like 87% fail within the first couple of years. Last year alone, only I think it was 74% of realtors sold one house. Or 74% didn't sell a house. I mean, that's crazy.
Hmm.
Only 25% of us sold a house last year, one house. So it's a very tough business. So mentally, you know, you got to get through adversity. So that's how that
Yeah.
happened. Military really structured me for that and
Yeah.
confidence. You know,
That's great. Great framing. I think that leads into your book as well. I know you talk. I mentioned it's the grit and the grind. For that kind of mindset. Can you tell us more about the book and really what inspired you to write that and
yeah,
who that's meant for?
absolutely. Yeah. So um, I had a coach that recommended I write a book, and he recommends I write a bunch. But writing a book is a lot harder than I thought it was. Not that I thought it was easy, but so I wanted to write a book to for basically for the real estate agents or people thinking of getting into the industry to let them know it's not what you think it is. I think a lot of people, and this may sound a little harsh, but you see a lot of top agents who are on Instagram and social media. They're driving really fancy cars, and they're trying to tell agents, "Hey, you can just show up on Instagram, look good, say certain things, and then you're going to become rich. Business will come to you." And that's not the case. That really is not. It's not how an agent builds their business. Eventually, they can get there, once you build it, then you could become more of a I wouldn't call a social media celebrity, but you can do that more, and it relates to you like writing a book does, right? It makes me more credible because I'm an author, and I'm speaking on a profession that I do, and I've done it well. But I wanted to provide a book to agents out there to say, they can pick it up, read it, and really go into the career, and just whatever I'm saying in there, they just implement it and it will work. They just got to stay consistent and stay scheduled. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know you mentioned, how many agents didn't do a deal last year, and just how many in general, how the majority of the industry, isn't necessarily like successful long-term. Right.
Right.
Where do you see, especially you having that education angle and having seen a lot of people who maybe are newer getting into it, or trying to scale and things, what separates the people that do stick around, do succeed, do have success from the ones that don't?
Man, you've got great questions. This has probably been the best podcast. I mean, like for question wise in about our industry. So thank you for
Thank you.
these questions. It's good. So
Yeah.
I really believe real estate is usually the second and third careers for most people.
Mm-hmm.
So they're a little bit older, and they're doing it. They don't want to grind like the 9 to 5. They just kind of probably either retired out of or stopped or whatever it may be. So they get into real estate for what they always call is the flexibility, which I hate that because they use the flexibility to not work is really what it is. I don't have to go into the office. I don't have a boss. I'm an independent contractor. So that's flexible. Nobody's going to tell me what to do. So they use all of the bad for the flexibility, or use that with the flexibility. What they need to understand is you have to be disciplined, and the flexibility comes from the discipline. So, like for me, like I'm working from home today because I can, but I still work from home. I work. I don't just, I'm not coming on just a podcast or anything. Like I sent out administrative stuff this morning. I'm following up with leads this morning. This afternoon, I'll do that too. Most agents don't work full time that way. They basically work when they have clients. And I think that's a problem. So most agents who are successful work at it every day. They want to get better every day. They're scheduled. They're consistent with what they do, and their mindset is to overcome the adversity. And they grind. They're gritty. They keep moving forward no matter what. I think that's what separates the top from everybody else. And that's just. I think it's almost in any profession. Like I always tell agents who are new because they want to say, "Well, I want to do a part time. What do you think?" And I said, "Listen, you're never going to get better at something doing it less, right? Like you've got to really do it a lot or more." And that's what I always tell agents who come to my team as well is you've got a lot of role models, me and some other top agents on my team. All you really got to do is come in and do what they're doing and then do it more. And it will work. It's pretty simple. The hard part that I've always faced is agents don't want to show up every day. I have lost more agents for the same accountability, Matt, that they came to my team for. It's just crazy. It's like, I want to be on your team, Matt. You're going to hold me accountable. You're going to make me better. You're going to show me the way. And then when they leave, I just don't want to be there every day. I don't want to have to do this stuff. I don't want to do it. It's like, it's the same thing you came here for, but it's hard.
Yep. Yeah, we hear that phrase a lot, where it's simple but not easy, right? It's straightforward. You've got the playbook. Now the hard part is showing up every day, and executing on that. And I don't know if we have it back there anymore. We used to have it was Extreme Ownership, the Jocko Willink book. Very similar to what you're talking about there. Having that that discipline, is what creates the freedom, right? So, or the flexibility like that. So. I love what you're saying there. And really, like you said, I mean, that's anything in entrepreneurship, anything, and especially like a sales and marketing capacity, which in the end, like if you're using DealMachine, in some way you're doing sales and marketing, like you're getting out and reaching out to people and building relationships, right? Like that requires consistency, and that requires that discipline every day. And that, it's again, easier said than done. So, yeah. And again, I really appreciate the shout out to us in our work there. Like, really, thank you so much. And again, it's been
Yeah.
awesome having you as even as somebody that's a customer for so long as well. But the agent kind of realtor angle, I'd love to hear that too, because I know our audience. It's a good mix of, we've got investors, we've got people who are agents, we've got wholesalers, we've got all the above, right? Can you tell us more about the agent angle? It doesn't have to be the Machine show necessarily, but
Mhm.
any kind of like pro tips you have there on how you're leveraging the technology, or how you're doing lead gen as an agent specifically would be I think really interesting to our audience.
Yeah, with Deal Machine Incorporated, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
if possible, yeah, yeah.
So if you're an agent out there, you need Deal Machine. I honestly believe you need a CRM. I mean, you can use Deal Machine as a CRM too. I would just say for a little bit more robust, you probably get a better CRM, and then use Deal Machine. That's all you really need. That's it, right? And you need to show up and be consistent, as we're saying. But ultimately, what we do as agents is we kind of have like a three-headed monster, is what I call it. So we'll do driving for dollars, which is awesome. I teach that all everywhere, all the agents I coach in my training program, everything. I learned it from you guys, right? And the app I have in one of my training videos on my Rainmaker University training platform. I have it in there where they're filming me in the Deal Machine app, but I'm saying, look, this is how you use it. This is how you do it. I pull up in front of a house. I show it to them. This is the house. Here's the address. I take them step by step to do it and how to do that. But what we do as a triple-headed monster is when we call somebody, say an absentee owner, somebody not living in their house, we're going to let them know, hey, we drove by your house. Not sure if it's rented or not. Um, you know, any any um, any chance you're looking to sell it, maybe, or been thinking about selling it, right? And what we want to do is we have investors, right? We're investors, cash, right? And then we also have other investors as clients that flip too, and then list with us. So we offer, look, we've got cash buyers for it. We can do that. We can buy it cash from you. Do you have a number in mind? It's always good to find out if they have a number in mind, at least in my experience, because sometimes you don't, you throw a number out there. Sometimes they get a little aggravated with you, a little mad because they're emotionally tied to it, maybe, or something like that. And then we tend to lose the deal altogether. Versus you got a number in mind, let them throw a number out, and then you kind of work from there. But so we offer the cash purchase. Then we say, listen, we're real estate agents. If it doesn't work out from a cash purchase, why don't we just do this with since we can put you in the MLS, we'll list it and bring everybody's investors. Now we're investors and we have our own, but that's a smaller window for you, a smaller group. Let's get it on the MLS, list it at a price you want, and let's see if we can bring all these more investors that all these other agents have, right? If that doesn't work for you, I can bring in my contractors to give us an estimate to flip the house, right? To get it back up to market value if it's in bad shape, which a lot of them are. Get it to market value. Now we can sell it top dollar, but now we got to put some renovation in it. But again, we got three options for you. Which option do you think is best for you? So we go through that, and that has worked really well for us. Being licensed, we can list it, and
Mm-hmm.
then we have cash buyers, and we are investors. So you can't lose with us.
Yeah,
So that's how
love
we
that.
use it. We use,
Amazing.
yeah.
Yeah. Is it driving for dollars primarily that you're identifying the properties, or are you doing anything with like the data or list building at all, or just curious there?
We do that too. So we drive for dollars. We do lists. We also from the expired standpoint, we call expireds through you guys. You guys have that ability and stuff, so we use that. We basically will search for all of our number. We search all of our numbers through you. So
Mm-hmm.
just like last week, I think I know myself, I don't know my complete team, but I uploaded probably about 26, 27 people in Deal Machine. And then I put them in my CRM once I got their number. And then I start mailing out within Deal Machine to
Yep.
them too. If I don't get them on the phone or text in a timely manner, which is usually a day or two, I'll just start mailing out. And then of course I still follow up with text and emails and
Mm-hmm.
calls as well. But that's how I
Amazing.
use Deal Machine. Yeah, I mean we use it for I mean, every except for sale by owner because they put their numbers out there. But other than
Right.
that, we use it for everything.
Yeah, man, that's exciting, man. And again, love that you come on and are willing to share your knowledge with our audience in general and inspire them to get started and really continue to take it to the next level. And I love the three-headed monster approach too, with those multiple types of offers too. So
Hmm.
definitely use that as a playbook, guys. But one last thing I wanted to ask about. I know we talked a little bit, or at least mentioned Rainmaker. Can you tell me more on what that's what your program's all about? Is that the best way for people to connect with you? Like, I'd love to know more about Rainmaker.
Yeah, Rainmaker use my virtual training platform that I created, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's basically an agent can log in there anywhere, anytime, and train. I've got over 35 courses in there where I'm in a studio for some, I'm behind a desk like this for some. I'm actually on site or out and about, like the Driving for Dollars. I'm in my
Mm-hmm.
car doing the video, showing them how to actually do it. There's scripts on there, there's marketing plans, there's my book is on there that, so they can log in, and it's we have a monthly membership of $39.97. It is so, relatively really cheap for that. And you can just
Mm-hmm.
get in there and train up and get moving, right? You can implement everything that we train you to do. I also have coaching that's another piece to that. And then I have a Kickstart program is what I call it. It's an 8 week coaching for me, 8 weeks, and then I will take you every week through a different training that you have to implement. And then every Friday we do our Zoom call and we talk about it and we go over and then we talk about your next week. So that's on there too, and it's a different price for that. But ultimately, agents can get in there for $39.97 and then train anywhere they are at any time and at a really good price. Yeah.
Amazing. Is that so? Is that the best place to be able to connect with you? Should we link to those below? Is that just curious about that?
Yeah, I mean, or you can email or text me. Like I said, I'm out there. I'm public everywhere, being a real
Mhm.
estate agent and my team and stuff. So, but you definitely can look that up. Rainmaker University, www.therainmakeru.com, and that's where you can log in there, sign up right there, cancel anytime too. So it's pretty simple. Hmm.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much again for your time today, David. Really, really appreciate it. Really enjoyed the conversation, and you coming to the table with just being such an open book for us too. So
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. It's been my pleasure.
yeah, absolutely. And to everyone watching over here, is Matt Camp with Deal Machine, and happy deal finding.